Hello and welcome to another episode of Gadgets and Gizmos. My name is Gaurav and they call me Looks Matter, they say, and then you realize that was the first sign of trouble. I fell for those looks. Anyway, OnePlus has launched their small smartphone. It's called the OnePlus X and it looks good. So the name of the company is OnePlus. The first phone they launched was called the OnePlus One, then they launched the OnePlus 2, and now they launched the OnePlus X, their mini smartphone. And in case you're wondering why am I telling you all this, do I think you're stupid? No, absolutely not, but it's just that somebody just asked me this question and I wanted to make things clear before I get going. So this is the OnePlus X. Just like the other OnePlus phones, it's awesome. It offers some great specs at an affordable price. And unlike the others, it's pretty small and pretty thin and pretty lightweight. But we'll have to see whether it has the same ingredients that its cousins had, which would make it a success just like the OnePlus One. First things first. OnePlus X is a good-looking device. You get this gorgeous dual-glass panel on both sides, which is held together strongly by this anodized and cut-groove metal chassis. It is no doubt a premium-looking device. But the glass, although it has Gorilla 3 protection, gives you the scare and it attracts fingerprints as well. The 5-inch AMOLED display is bright and perfect for one-hand usage. Colors are rich and the blacks are deep. So deep they actually merge well, especially with the black scheme. It's plenty crisp enough for whatever you're doing. Browsing, gaming, replying to emails. It's a glossy display, but there's plenty of brightness to counteract reflection. Talk about the performance, this phone is running on a Snapdragon 801 processor along with 3 GB of RAM. Now it's a good combination that will deliver you that performance that you require. Regular performance I'm talking about, not the power users. The problem is it's a fairly old processor and even the budget smartphone these days have a 64-bit processor. So somewhere you would be missing that performance that you would see in other phones, and also it's not future-proof then. Also you have only 16 GB of internal storage, which can be expanded via micro SD card, but then more the internal storage, better the phone performs. So the OnePlus X's performance, well, it's a mixed bag if you're expecting the very best in all things. Watch a video, no problem. Browse the web, no problem. It's a phone that's typically fluid in its operation, but shows its shortcomings with more graphically intensive tasks. The Snapdragon 801 does show its age, and while some of the blame may lie on the extra polish that the Oxygen OS may still need, but we're hoping the future updates will make things more smoother. In terms of life, the 2525 mAh battery on board will get you through a single day without trouble. The 13 megapixel camera here is nowhere close to the OnePlus One or the 2. It clicks good pictures in good light but then falters in low light. The X is fine for casual snaps so long as you don't expect too much. And the front 8MP camera gives you those default beauty mode pictures which look good. Okay, it's time for the verdict. Whoa, I'm on TV, man, live. Awesome. Okay, so the OnePlus X is a good phone. We'll give it an extra X for its looks, and that's all, because if we give it an extra X, that would make it OnePlus XXX. That doesn't sound good. Okay, the looks, it's a stunner, no doubt about it, but then the glass, it makes it looks good, but it also attracts a lot of fingerprints, and if the glass breaks, then God only save you. Performance, it's a good performer, but then the problem is that it's an old, relatively old processor, and yes, you would want to be up to date, especially now. The camera is just about acceptable. It gives you acceptable quality of images. The battery life, 6 to 7 hours, I don't know, that really doesn't work out. So at this point, I would say, frankly speaking, the OnePlus One still makes a lot of sense because it's just a matter of 2,000-3,000 rupees. Also, you can look at the Moto X style, and the Xiaomi Mi 4, it's pretty good, you know. So I don't know, it leaves me confused. Some people just go for looks, but I don't think looks should matter. Am I right? It's very important to have balance in life, otherwise you'll go bald or crazy. Here is Shivan, who is trying to find that perfect balance on his toy. Take a look.
I don't know about balance in life, Gaurav, but I'm just trying to get my derriere from hitting the floor right now. This is the latest innovation in personal transporters by Bert, and it looks really fancy, seems really cool, but it takes a bit of time to get your balance around it. So follow me as I keep my derriere from hitting the floor again. So I've been at this since the morning. It's been quite an adventurous day, but I finally got a hang of it. And I also know how hard that pavement is. But that's the beauty of it. Once you take a couple of falls, you get the complete hang of it. You know how to maneuver your body. You have better balance, you have better confidence, and you know how to move your body around with the Segway. It's a fairly simple device if you need to understand the functionality. It just moves with your weight. You just need to ensure that your body is straight and lean forward, it takes you forward, lean back, it takes you at the back. Lean towards your right, you turn right, lean towards your left, and you go in the other direction. As far as its battery life is concerned, it takes about an hour and a half to recharge it completely. And in one charge, it can take you about 10 kilometers to 19 kilometers. Now, someone of my weight, probably not more than 10, 11 kilometers. Someone like Sahil, a bag of bones, probably around 19, maybe even 21 with Sahil. And as we test our weights, Gaurav stands in the background laughing at both of us, but it's been quite a cool experience doing this. The tires it has rubber tires. They don't get punctured. You can take them on any terrain. I've tried it on the grass, I've tried it on a hard ground. But yes, just make sure that if you're trying it for the first time, don't do what I did and don't try it on the pavement. Definitely try it on soft ground because you will take a fall. Now, there is just one button which switches it on and switches it off. There's one port with which you can charge it, and that's about it. It comes with a simple manual and it comes with a simple charger. It's quite an easy device to get your head around, and it does cost a whopping 50 grand. So if you're someone with a swanky farmhouse, if you're someone with some cash to spare, this is definitely something that you can have in your toy cupboard. But it's a big boy toy, as I like to call it, and a lot of fun as well. So, I don't want to talk too much about it. If you're a tech geek, if you're into gadgets, you don't need reasons to buy things. If you have the cash for it, try it out. It's a good toy to have in your house. So I've finally got a hang of it. It's taken me a lot of time. I've worn out a lot of batteries, but I think I'm already on it now. But when you're on it, you need to remember three things. Firstly, you will fall. Secondly, don't freak out. And thirdly, it will get scratched. But once you pass all three levels, it's going to be a smooth sailing all through.
Oh, so while Shivan did manage to find that balance, Sahil managed to find some honor. Take a look.
Gaurav, you're right. I'm feeling strangely honored because of a phone that I have been testing for the last few weeks. And as you can see, I am wearing even a coat jacket out here. The phone is by a company called Huawei, which also happens to be the third largest smartphone maker in the world. This company has actually made the Nexus 6P, which is one of my favorite smartphones of the year. Phone this time around in question is hilariously named the Honor 7. Maybe you should be honored 7 times over if you buy this phone. And it looks good, it makes a really good first impression. But the thing is that the market is really hot. You have competitors like OnePlus and Xiaomi. But can this phone make the mark? If it does, you will really be honored. Make no mistake. In the looks department, this phone gets 2 thumbs ups from me because it's got this really gorgeous 5.2-inch display, it's got accurate colors, it's got good viewing angles, and overall it's a really nice display if you want to watch videos, read content on the web or even play games. The only dull moment out here this display has is when you take it outdoors, because the brightness levels are not as good, so that will mean that you will struggle to view the content. But overall, still this phone really shines through because it's got this full metal frame. It's 8.5 mm, so it's not overly thick, not too thin, so it'll fit really nicely in your hand, and it can be used with a single hand, which is really important for a lot of people. Before I get into the nitty-gritties about the performance of this phone, I really need to let you in on a little secret. Anyway, this phone packs a massive battery. You have a 3100 mAh battery in this subtle, small, diminutive frame, which means the battery life is really good. On an average, I charge the phone on alternate days. So that means I never ran short of juice in a single day, and that is just fantastic. Coming back to the performance of this phone, it is powered by a Huawei made octa-core processor, which is basically an 8-core processor. It's got 3 GB of RAM, and it comes in 16 GB and 64 GB flavors. Well, the performance is really smooth and fluid, and there are no lags or stutters. Gaming is also nice. Importantly, the phone doesn't even get warm, which is quite not so common these days. Even software-wise, Huawei has customized the software to look like iOS, which means it's really simple to use. But this also means that this phone is still stuck on Android Lollipop, which was launched way back in 2014. Make no mistake, you won't be getting the update to Android Marshmallow anytime soon. So if you care about some of those new features like Now on Tap and Doze, then probably this is not the phone for you. Now the real impressive thing about this phone is that it comes with some really heavy duty camera hardware. On the back you get a gargantuan 20 megapixel camera, and on the front you get an 8 megapixel camera. The rear camera, which is also supported by a fingerprint scanner out here, also gets a dual tone flash, and overall the image quality is really impressive. In broad daylight you get dollops of detail, really good contrast and really good colors. Even in low light it's no slouch and it'll take really nice photos. On the front, the camera not only has a really high resolution, it also gets a flash. So you can use a flash in dim selfies, and overall the results are going to be really nice. Dude, this phone is really nice, man. I love the display, the camera is quite good, performance is pretty fast, and the battery life is really awesome, I must say that. And more importantly, the build is very nice, and it's a very compact phone, which means I can use it with one hand while I do other things with my other hand. Using this phone, I feel so honored to even mop my own floor. And मम्मी तो कहती है ना, कोई भी काम छोटा नहीं होता. Dude, can you stop this? Stop it, man, stop it. Can you stop?
To do.
Contact!
Hey guys, I'm Akshay and I've been playing the new Halo game, the Halo 5 Guardians on the Xbox One, and it released a few weeks ago, and I've been having some good times and I've been having some bad times.
Hang on!
I actually bought a new Xbox One because I was excited to play Halo, and did I really like it? You'll get to know in a bit.
Clear them out! Clone people can fight, but they shouldn't have to. Need support! Here!
As I started playing Halo 5, I realized I'm playing with a new character called Spartan Locke. I was a bit dumbfounded because for the past 14 years I've been playing a Halo game as Master Chief. Once you start playing the game, you start playing as Spartan Locke. Your main mission is to chase down Master Chief and bring him in for possible war crimes. However, this is where I have a problem with the game. Spartan Locke is, in my opinion, a very underdeveloped character for the game and does not deliver what you expect from a Halo game. Master Chief, on the other hand, is a fan favorite. However, you only get to play him for 3 missions throughout the game. As I'm playing the game, I realize the storyline of Halo 5 isn't as great as I expect it to be. If you know what you're doing, you'll finish the game in 4 hours, and the narrative of the game is very vague. I'm used to playing Halo where I get a lot of information and there's a lore behind it, and this game didn't really feel like it. It didn't cut to it.
You get one shot! Now!
While there could have been a great story here, Halo 5 doesn't really address key issues whenever the opportunity arises. With underdeveloped characters and a vague narrative, the story doesn't feel inspired as compared to its predecessor. Cutscenes end abruptly, leaving the player literally lost in the world, clueless as to what is happening.
Would you like to discuss the finer points of casual reconciliation?
More human sarcasm.
So you have learned something from me, Julie.
You claim
With beautiful environments and intelligent NPCs, I seldom knew what I was doing and why. It suffers severely and wastes good chances of achieving its potential due to its confusing plot and uncharismatic character.
fitting of the Dynac's hand.
However, the game does make up for its losses. The gameplay feels super smooth while clocking in 60 frames per second.
I have spent enough years with Oni.
The developers managed to achieve that goal with their secret weapon, that is dynamic resolution. It's impressive to see a game running at full 60 frames per second when other games fail to deliver the same on the Xbox One.
Comms working fine, Lop.
Copy that, Tanaka.
With a much faster pace and new movements, this gameplay translates extremely well into the multiplayer as well.
Weapons free. Contact.
Halo 5 excels in the multiplayer modes. In fact, this is the best shape Halo's multiplayer has ever been in. Seems to be another problem with Halo 5 Guardians. If you want to play this game, you will have to shell out 4,700 rupees, which in my opinion is a bit too expensive for the average gamer in India. While other AAA games on every console, including the Xbox One, is modestly priced, I fail to understand why this is so high. Since the release of the original game 14 years ago, a Halo game has never felt so good. With new features and fast movability, it transcends well into the multiplayer and campaign. While it fails to deliver a good narrative, it's still the game in essence still feels fun to play. Price at 4,700 rupees, in my opinion, it's a bit too overpriced for 4 to 5 hours of gameplay, and I would suggest you wait it out.
It took you long enough.
Alright, time to see what's making news in the world of technology. It's time for Tech News. Microsoft will launch Lumia 950 and 950 XL in India on November 30th, as per reports. Microsoft will hold the launch event for the new Lumia smartphone on November 30th, which is a Monday, and availability of the phone will start the day after. For the uninitiated, the Lumia 950 and the Lumia 950 XL were launched back in October alongside the Surface Pro 4 and Surface Book. Both phones are the showcase devices of Windows 10 for the mobile and comes with the headline feature of the OS called Continuum. Too many Facebook friends makes teens stressed, study finds. Having too many Facebook friends could make teenagers stressed out, research has found. Led by the University of Montreal, the study found that having more than 300 friends on the social networking site significantly increase adolescents' level of cortisol, the hormone released when you are stressed out. LG has cancelled the sale of Watch Urban 2nd Edition LTE due to an unspecified hardware issue. The smartphone was on full sale for around 6 days before LG pulled the plug, stating there was a problem which affected the day-to-day functionality of the device. The company hasn't said whether they will be recalling any units sold to the customers. Well, sometimes it's good to have those products arriving late in India. And Mark Zuckerberg to take 2 months of paternity leave. Facebook's CEO Mark Zuckerberg said on Friday he will take 2 months of paternity leave after his daughter's birth. A strong statement from one of the busiest and most powerful US executives on the importance of family time. Alright, with that it's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed watching the episode, and we'll be back next week with more of gadgets and gizmos.